Welcome back to Open Studio. I am Steve Leahy. Happy Wednesday, as promised. Moving on. Another copy. There we go. Sorry, getting situated here. There we go. Everything's good now. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, so sometimes what I do, which you guys can't see because of the, well, I could turn it off for a second. There we go. So sometimes what I do, like, all right, so I need to do this area right in here, and it's really, there's a lot going on in there, and I got to get my brain up to speed. So I have the copy here, which I'm going to use as a reference, and then I have the photo, which you guys see in the corner, which I have that over the other side, but that's kind of far over the other side. So sometimes when I have to, like, really, all right, on this scale, if I have to look 8 inches to one direction to see the reference photo, sometimes the persistence of vision doesn't hang on long enough when I look back to the painting to get in the right spot. So sometimes I need things really close together. So I could do that, but if I put the reference photo over here, I'm dealing with the right-hand side of the image here. So that's going to now be, what, 2 inches away, 2.5 inches away. That might still be too much space. So what I'll do a lot of times if I'm dealing with one small section is I will drop the scissors on the floor. Oh, there we go. So what I'll do is I'll just take the reference photo, and you guys can't see it because it's kind of blurry, but you get the idea. And I'll just cut out that whole section of what I'm working on. So now I've got this little bit, which is the same thing as that. And now I can put this like right off to the side like this. Now I'm right there, so I can go instantly back and forth, and that allows that, again, that persistence of vision to stick, stick in my head really, and then I'll be able to just kind of bounce back and forth. So it's another cool little trick if you're trying to get like a lot of really minute, tight details, or even bigger details. You can move that your reference closer to. It's a lot of times why you'll see when people set up a still life, that the still life is directly off the side of the canvas. So they're standing there, and all they do is move their head a little bit to the left or right, and they can now see the still life. So they go back and forth quickly. It works the same way, So, all right. Enough of that. I blew it and didn't come up with a good soapbox for today. So we're just going to like flow. We're going to see what the random brain things will produce. I don't know. We're just going to go for it. All right. Again, I'm looking for an anchor point. I'm looking for a place to start that will kind of get me in the right spot. And this little section right here looks really good. So I'm going to start there. It's going to be black and white and blah, 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 and all that fun stuff. You'll also notice that on almost every episode, I add water to this palette. It's pretty common. Usually once a day I have to add water to it, especially in the summertime when things start to warm up. The studio is wonderful. It stays pretty consistent in both humidity and temperature. However, it does, get warmer in the summer. And so as we're getting closer to summer, the palette will dry out. Oh, you can't see it because I have it off. I never turned it back on. There it is. So the palette will dry out, especially during the warmer season, or if the heat's on really high in the wintertime. That'll also do it as well. But overall, it's working out pretty well. All right, so yeah, we're going to start this. We're going to just move right across. So I think I'm going to grab some. Actually, let's move this back to where it should be. About the hair. 4021 is still working out, as I want to say as advertised, but I haven't really had enough time to really dig into it. So for me, it's pretty much working the same way. And that's not to say that this stuff isn't good, but what it does say for me is that I had the other stuff dialed in really well. So I wasn't having the problems that people are saying are solved by the new reducer, which is great for me, But also, you know, you have this major upgrade in products, and I don't necessarily get to enjoy them the same way because, you know, I wasn't having issues. Which is a lot about this stuff, a lot about the paint and the company. I love these guys. Oh, that was too much, and I went in the freaking... I say that, I just blasted paint everywhere. So that's not great, because it's on the pad. So we don't want that to spread out. So I'm going to do a quick maintenance job here, just to get the most of that black paint off. I still got to replace the foam, which I have one. I just gotta get to the point where I'm gonna do it. But the thing is that the foam, I've had this for what, 2 years now, and the foam is still working great. So you know, why fix it if it ain't broke? All right, all righty then. So now I'm gonna go, okay, so that's that one, that's that one. No, so actually I'm gonna put those windows back in. Remember I said last week I took those out with the white? Yeah, I'm gonna throw those back in. Nice. All right, so what are we talking about tonight? I wish I could go ahead in the future and see what you guys want to talk about, because that would be easier. That's where the live streams, last week I talked about, you know, how this open studio is a lot of fun for me because I could just paint. But that's the disadvantage of it. You know, the interaction on the live streams are great, and there's no chance for me to, like, you know, as soon as I kind of come up with a block, there's someone else has something to say, and then we just keep going. That's the beauty of the live streams. Now, if you're watching this in the premiere, the week it comes out, there is that, because we usually get together and we, you know, talk in the live chat, and that's great. And I'm present in the live chat, so I can answer questions that I miss, you know, the week before or whatever. And it's a lot of fun. So, and then if you're watching it after the fact, you're alone on an island. That really bugs me that black paint is everywhere in there. Oh, it got everywhere. Oof. That's not ideal. It went underneath the pad. All right, so I may have to... You notice that it's black all the way down here and all the way around there. Yeah, that's because black paint is creeping everywhere. Great. Oh, well. Oh, well. Yeah, so I didn't even prepare a fundamental of art for today. Last week we took a break from that, or 2 weeks we took a break from that because Brian had another great question about, you know, photorealism and getting bogged down and that kind of thing. But I didn't prepare. I am not prepared. So we're just going to talk about stuff tonight. I don't know what kind of stuff. But it's going to be important. It's going to change your life. It's going to change the world. I know it. Just don't know what it is yet. All right. I wish, and I can't give you timely things too, because I'm recording this 2 weeks in advance. So what's going on today happened 2 weeks ago for me, but that's still my work. Let me think about that for a second. There might be some things going on that are coming up. What is coming up? I have been working on the dollar bill painting. I'm guaranteeing that in 2 weeks I do not have that done yet, because that is an epic painting, something that really needed to be done for a long time. But I'm having fun working on that. I've got 2 other paintings that are in, very shortly going to be in the works. I hope they'll be started in 2 weeks, but that is probably unlikely because I need to get some. They're going to be on ampersand board. 2 paintings. What am I saying? 3 paintings. So those got to be done by the end of the year. So those are going to be good. What else have I got going on? I gotta jump on and see when the Ashtabula show is, because I don't know and I don't want to miss that. On the other side of that, like I have paintings for it if I have to. I wanted the dollar bill painting in there for it, but depending on when the call for entries is, I don't know that I'll make it in time. But we shall see. Still working on my security devices for these. There's just nothing available that's small enough for these. So I know what I want. I know what I need to do or what I need to find. I'm just having a hard time finding something pre-made. So it might be an issue of, or a situation where I need to have something manufactured, which is exciting because I've never done that, you know, on a larger scale, like on a, you know, I mean, if this works out, this would be fun and I could sell them, which would be good, you know, offer them to people who are kind of having the similar problem that I'm having. So, and again, it's like anything with miniature work. The problem is that the stuff's not out there. The problem is it's not small enough. And it's a hardware issue. You know, it's the hardware that's available now for anti-theft is great. What am I looking at? Oh, that's that one. Okay. Yeah, the hardware is great, but it's designed for much bigger paintings. So the hardware doesn't fit on the back of a painting that's only 6 inches by 8 inches. So again, I understand. There's no reason why, you know, they needed to design something for that. But if anything, that should be a thing because, you know, I mean, the security systems I've been looking at for the back of paintings are for like really public places like hotels. You know, they don't want people stealing the paintings or the pictures off the walls from hotels, so they use these security things, or a restaurant or something. You know, that's really what these are for. So it's fine. They're designed to be big. Now, if you're in a museum setting, the larger paintings are usually pretty safe because they are hard to get off the wall, and there's also security, so that takes care of that. However, the small paintings can be an issue. So I think there's something there, and I know what to do. Like I said, I know what to do. I just have to find a way to manufacture it. Yeah, after I took out these windows, I'm putting them back in. Because they were in the right place. Yeah, when they get small, the bigger buildings that we were doing down below, that's off the screen here, those were easier. Those were way easier. Because you can see them, you know what they are. These things back in here are like, they are just enough, they are just barely there. So, but enough of them is there that if you don't pay attention to them, that they're just not going to be right. Plus, keep in mind too, with these paintings, or with any of the small paintings that I do, you guys saw the reference photo, the photocopy. I'm adding way more resolution to this image than is really there. So I gotta kind of come up with that at the same time. And if the information isn't there in the photo, it gets dangerous because you start guessing. So you got to make sure your guesses are as accurate as they can be, I guess. Guess. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're not. The trick is to be more right than wrong, you know? That's the goal. And again, you know, that's the whole rub. That's the thing. You know, I can make all this up, and at the end of the day, there's only a small percentage of people that are even gonna like really check me on it, like hard. But those are the people I'm painting for. You know, I want the person to try to bust me on it and not be able to. That's the goal. Oh, my reference photo cuts off before the edge of this. I don't know why that is. It got bumped over a little bit. I also have to make sure I jump over to the bigger copy because some of these buildings are, yeah, they are. They're different colors. White one. Now the reference photo, the actual photo, I have a long, like the photo keeps going way off the edge of this, so I do have lots of extra information there, but I just got to be careful that I don't go too crazy. Okay, so yeah, this building here, let me get rid of that first. So I'll take care of that. That little guy right there is tan. This guy right here that I put the windows back in on, this is tan. So if I keep this fairly thin, I can just run over those windows and they stay dark enough. You know, it's transparent enough to change it to tan, but it still gives me the right, you know, the right color on that. Other than that, all these buildings are white, black, and gray, which is good. So we got the roof of this guy here. So I'm going to start with this one as the anchor. So this one here has a couple little things on it. One of those. Buildings, windows above. Yeah. So then I jump across the street and there's a brown building over there. So that's, again, that's how it goes. It keeps going like that over and over again. So now I got to catch back up again. So start with this building. There's the street. There's that street. It's right here. Oh, it's a little lower. That's all right. That's okay. We'll work around it. Because there's a street attached to this. Yeah. Yeah, because it's on the other side of this. Okay, good. I'm caught up now. Yep. Yeah, it's on the other side of this. So this is where it gets cut off. So this is my street down here, which has got some blue in it. And then that little guy up there is on that street. That's a... Excuse me. That's the cut across street. Okay, I think I'm good. Yeah. A little bit of blue, light blue, maybe. So there's that building. This one's right before the street, so that's like right there. Okay. So again, that's all that's really going on. It's nice. I'm, you know, getting into the swing of things before the summertime, which is crazy for me this year, which is wonderfully crazy. Good friend is getting married at the end of the year. My daughter is officially getting married at the end of the year. Which is wonderful. Like I said, you know, I'm hopefully going to have a couple shows that are gonna be in, which is nice. And then at some point, I've been mulling this over for a while. It's just going to be a matter of getting it done in the correct way, which I'm working on. And that's a special show, maybe not even one, maybe multiple shows with the 543s. So I want to have an off-the-wall show. So there's a couple of organizations that I've been involved with. One is the Cambridge Art Association, and they kind of have a holiday off-the-wall show. And the premise is for the show is that the painting has to be less than $150, and you, unlike a normal art show, when you go, you can purchase the art that's there on the wall, but then you take it with you. So usually when you go to a show and art is available, for sale, you can buy it, but you can't take it until the show is completely done. It's, run its course. And that's just so the show looks good while it's up, right? But these quick shows, these off-the-wall shows, are designed so that, you can buy the painting and then when you leave with it, which I love. So the 543s would be perfect for that because they're relatively inexpensive and they are all the same size and matting and all that. So it would make a really, really good off-the-wall show. So you'd have all the 543s kind of attached to the wall in a temporary way. You can go and pick the one you like and pluck it off the wall and walk away with it. So I'm working on that too. I'm just looking at places to do that and partners that would want to do that with me, meaning venues and or galleries. I can't do it at a museum because museums are not in the business to sell art. So that takes any of the museums off the table. But I just need a clean empty room to do it. So I've got the airbrush back hooked up here. I've got a highly reduced black, opaque black. It's 10% paint to 90% reducer. And I'm just going to kind of go in and, again, ground those buildings, but also in the details here, just kind of add the gray tones that I didn't want to paintbrush in. I can do that with the airbrush. So I can even do little details too with the airbrush. Again, this is the Micron B, which is B stands for beast. It is quite the brush for this. One of my favorites, and definitely one of my go-tos as far as detail type of work is this brush here. So this not only allows me to do that shading, that fading that we were doing to ground the buildings, but like take for instance, let me find one here real quick. Down here maybe. All right, see these two buildings right down here? There's a little L, well, I'll use my blade so you can see it. So there's the L-shaped one and then this like reversed or reverse C-shaped one. Watch the L-shaped one up top. So they're both white right now, but if I want to add a little bit of variation, again, that's that repetition and variation. We don't want everything to be white and, just different shapes. That's fine. We want variation in those white shapes. So that top one, that L-shaped one, I can very, very lightly go over the whole thing. So I'll keep it bright, but I just knock it down a little bit in value. So now it's different than this guy, but still reads very bright. Now, did that really happen in the image? No, it didn't, but it was worth it to show you guys, And I've got the airbrush set up, so I might as well run a few more things, just double check some things. Yeah, like up here. I'm going to slide you way over because we didn't do any airbrushing on this other stuff up here. This is the stuff we did 2 weeks ago. So I can, same thing, I could come in here and add a little bit of grounding shadows. I can also add a little bit of, airbrush details. which is nice because in the end, the airbrush details are just slightly softer than the paintbrush. So you get this nice variation between the two. And seamless, really, you know? That's what we're looking for. Where else can I use this? I think I've got most of it. That was lovely. That was good. Now, see, this is funny because this episode, it seems like we got a lot done. You know, last episode with the cutting out, it didn't seem like a lot got done, but that's how this works, you know. You spend a lot of time cutting and then you spray and then it allows you to knock out a big section. Let's look at, since we got a little bit of time, what's going on above, there we go. Let's look above this one, right in here. I want to know what's going on here. There's a little bit of a gray building. How do I do this? God, that black's a mess. That bums me out. That's all right, though. Okay, this building here has a little gray building right here, which we'll get in. And then that. I think I have that too high. I do. But fortunately, this building is gray as well. Why does that seem like it's not in the right spot, though? We're going to go to the tape. Hold on. I'm going to get rid of that. That black square is too high anyway. So we're going to just take that out. Kind of reset the panel here. Yeah, that's right, because that's above the gray building down there. This is too dark, too. That's okay, too. We can mess with that. There we go. So do a little bit of a dry brush. Ooh, that's not dry enough. A little bit of a dry brush scenario on this now. So this, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of lighting this up a little bit. That's better. Okay, let that dry, and then we'll figure out where we're going to go with this. So what I need to do is get another copy here that isn't all cut up. That's not what I'm looking for. What I do with it. That's what I do with it. Wonderful. Yeah, this will work. Hopefully that should be dry now. So this is a great trick too. Like, all right, so I'm having an issue trying to figure out this little gray building right here. So my brain just like shuts off and it's like, no, I'm not going to tell you. You know, it's just like just fatigue and I'm just giving up. You can use this persistence of vision thing too. So I'm going to line this up so it's in the right spot. And then what I can do is I can kind of move back and forth like this, like a little slideshow, and I can see what's going on. So yeah, that building that I thought was, that's it, the gray building, it's only half the building. So my brain told me, or my eyes told me that little gray, that little black line wasn't in the right spot, but it was. So this goes back in. And again, it's all part of that, just back and forth and back and forth. You know, your brain's fighting your eyes. Sometimes your brain wins, sometimes your eyes win. But at the end of the day, you have to just kind of go with whatever's correct, you know. That's what's got to happen. And again, hopefully that jumps back to what Brian was asking about last week. You know, that can be frustrating, and that can be the struggle. Like, it's like, I just can't see it. It's not coming out right. You know what I mean? And that's, again, you have to decide for yourself, as kind of a conclusion to that thought last week. You have to decide with yourself how much of that you're going to take. You know, well, how much isn't fun anymore. You know. Clean that up a little bit, get the rest of that building in where it should be. So this little white square up top is correct, and it is the roof of this building. I thought it was way down lower. And now I have that little gray building back in there, just by default. and we're off to the races. Good. That's a nice way to end with a kind of semi-screw up fix. All right, so again, let's take a look at the whole thing. Here it is. Yeah, we are making ground. If you look at this thing now, once I get back all the way across to the right-hand side, so where we did, you know, where that, I don't know, what I'm trying to say is we're almost halfway through this painting, which is great. And we are, you know, we're into episode, you know, 49, I think. So we're almost at the 25-hour mark for this painting. It's not uncommon for these big paintings to be like this. But it makes it worth it, because I couldn't do this in 10 minutes, you know, or an hour or whatever. So there you go. All right, so you know what to do. Please hit that like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Tell a friend. Let's get some stuff going. You know, just, it'll be great. If you want to support us in a more financial way, you could do what these wonderful people have done. And you can become a member here or over on Patreon. You get a 10% discount on my website. And over here on YouTube, you get early access to the Time-Lapse Tuesday video, which is a blast. So there you go. All right. So for Steve Leahy and Through Lachlan's Eyes, I will catch you guys all next week. Have a great week.